Good afternoon, Belize. It's midday and you're tuning into the news at noon, where we bring you the latest updates from around the country. I'm Isana Cayetano, and here's what's making headlines today. High Court awaits crucial filing on public access in O.J. Ellington's case. Belize's inflation steady. PG pays more, but OW pays less. Belize City faces gridlock as two key bridges prepare to shut down. And high-level Caricom caucus in Nevis takes on region's toughest challenges. These stories are coming up in just 1 minute.
I'm Brittany. My stories are heartfelt and bring a fresh perspective. On the job, there is no challenge too great. Flooded highways, raging fires, or asking tough questions. My determination and willingness to connect with people help to deliver stories that put you, our viewers, at the forefront of issues. My motto? Accurate, timely, and relevant. I am News 5.
Welcome back. Belize Telemedia Limited just wrapped up a brisk but important press conference, taking on the controversy that's been brewing for weeks over severance payments. The issue flared after last year's Caribbean Court of Justice ruling in favor of former BTL employees, and the Belize Communication Workers for Justice has been turning up the pressure ever since. This morning, BTL's management finally stepped forward to lay out their position and respond to the growing demands. For the highlights from today's press briefing, we are now going to join News 5's Paul Lopez.
This morning, the Belize Telemedia Limited held a press conference to update the public on severance matters, particularly where negotiations between the BCWJ and the company is concerned. And there are several key takeaways coming out of this morning's press conference. One of the things that the company confirmed is that all sums awarded by the Caribbean Court of Justice to the appellants in the Irvin Marine et al. Case have been fully paid. BTL also sought to reassure the public and former employees that it continues to act in good faith and in accordance with the law where where severance is concerned. BTL argues that by law, interest, which is one of the sticking points in the ongoing negotiations, is awarded on judgment debts for particular or specific litigants, and the award of prejudgment interest, if any at all, is within the discretion of the court. In essence, saying that the BCWJ and its members who have not gone before the court to argue its case cannot necessarily argue for the same interest that was awarded in court, because there's a specific scenario for which that 6% interest is applied. This morning, BTL also confirmed that negotiations have broken down as a result of that particular 6% sticking point. However, in conclusion, BTL has sent out an invite for all former employees who believe that they qualify for severance payment under Section 18(3) of the Labor Act to submit their information and details for review to the company, saying that they are willing to make every single severance payment to former employees that qualify, and they essentially want to get this issue behind them. Reporting for News 5 from BTL's compound here in Belize City, I am Paul Lopez.
The High Court is bracing for a critical update today in the rape case involving Urson O.J. Ellington. By noon, Director of Public Prosecution Sherilyn Vidal must file a statement laying out exactly where the virtual complainant stands on a key question: should this trial unfold behind closed doors? Justice Nigel Pilgrim wants that answer before he decides whether to shut the public out. He made it clear on Monday that the complainant's voice must weigh just as heavily as the defense's push to keep proceedings open. Both sides, Vidal for the prosecution and Alifa Ellington for the defense, already made their arguments, but the judge said the court cannot move forward without hearing directly from the person at the center of this case. Once the complainant's position is officially on record, the defense will get its chance to challenge it when the matter resumes at 3 p.m. this afternoon. We'll be inside the courtroom and we'll have the latest on how both sides frame their arguments in this evening's newscast. Meanwhile, Belizeans caught a small break in January. New SIB numbers show national inflation barely moved up just 0.04%, meaning prices stayed mostly flat. But that depended a lot on where you live and what you buy. Groceries, housing costs, health services, and restaurant bills all crept up, but cheaper transportation helped balance things out. Down south, Punta Gorda saw the sharpest hit, 2.6% inflation. Families there paid more for everyday essentials, from cereals and meats to school uniforms, LPG, and even personal care items. In Orinjoak, however, the story flipped. The municipality posted a negative 1.9% inflation rate as fuel, vegetables, and women's clothing all got cheaper. Still, doctor visits and home repair services went up. So, while the national rate looks calm, Belize's cost of living still depends on your town and your shopping list. Traffic trouble is on the horizon for Belize City. Two of the city's busiest bridges are about to shut down for full replacement, and that means thousands of drivers will be squeezed onto just a couple of alternate routes. The Belchina and Chedamal Street bridges will have to carry the load, and that's raising real questions about whether the Lake Independence Boulevard approach can handle it, especially when heavy rains already leave that stretch falling apart. City Hall says they're pushing for a long-term fix, not another round of quick patchwork. Deputy Mayor Elude Miller told us they've been in talks with the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing, which has now committed to fully rehabilitating the boulevard ahead of the bridge's closures. Here's how he explains the plan.
My understanding, and coming out of the same meeting that we had with MIDH, my understanding is a more permanent fix will be executed to that entire thoroughfare, right? What happened is with the replacement of the Belcan Bridge, the Chetamal, that bridge and the entire boulevard will become extremely important as it will serve as an alternate route, right? And so MIDH recognizes it. Us at the city, we recognize that this boulevard will need to be completely rehabilitated. They have done some work there recently, as you have seen, and we have promoted that work on our page as well, and we remain thankful for it. But a more permanent upgrade to that boulevard is necessary, and MIDH has committed to executing that work ahead of the replacement of the Belcan Bridge, as it will again serve as an alternate route into and out the city, no?
Caricom leaders slipped behind closed doors earlier today for a high-stakes caucus in Nevis, where they're expected to tackle some of the region's most sensitive integration challenges head-on. It's the kind of meeting where the real decisions get made, away from the cameras, away from the speeches, and away from the diplomatic niceties. The heads of government made the short hop over to Nevis for the day-long session, and insiders say the agenda isn't short on thorny issues. Joining us from Basseterre, St. Kitts is reporter Peter Richards.
The leaders will travel to the sister isle of Nevis for the day-long caucus, where sensitive and perhaps contentious issues will be discussed and decisions taken. At the end of their deliberations, they will return to Basseterre to continue their 50th regular summit. Among the leaders is the Prime Minister of Haiti, Alex Didier Fils-Aimé, who is hoping that presidential elections last held in his country in 2016 will now take place by the end of this year.
For the past 6-7 months, we have been making some serious inroads into the gang areas. We are recuperating parts of Port-au-Prince, parts that were in gang control are now back into the police and the state control. We are moving forward. We just had an important milestone, which I think is something that people didn't think could happen. We had most political parties, and especially the major ones, sign an accord for the stability and to assure that we're all going to the elections together.
Will you come here to the Caricom meeting? What message are you therefore bringing with regards to the elections?
The message is we are heading to the elections. We have found an agreement between Haitians, and we have decided that we are moving forward. Elections will be held as soon as we get all the security wins necessary.
But that doesn't be, for example, if I may say, next month, 6 months from now?
We're expecting by the end of the year, we will be ready to host the first round of the elections.
The United States has openly come out in support of you. Do you think that is sufficient enough for the security situation in your country?
The support of the American community, and for that, a matter of fact, is the support from the whole international community. The EU has done the same, Canada has done the same. I understand that those countries understand that the work that we're doing, and they see that it's bringing stability into Haiti.
Peter Richards reporting for News 5.
That's a wrap for the news at noon, but don't worry, there's plenty more coming your way at 6 p.m. We'll dive deeper into these stories and more. In the meantime, visit greaterbelize.com and follow us on Facebook for real-time updates. And don't miss Open Your Eyes tomorrow morning for fresh takes on today's headlines. Thanks for tuning in, Belize. Stay informed, stay inspired, and have a fantastic afternoon.